I'm Josh, I'm a sustainable investment specialist at one of the world's largest asset owners, and so far this year I've read over 60 sustainability books. Here's what you need to know. First, sustainability is not one problem. It's a system of interconnected crises. Climate change, biodiversity collapse, pollution, energy transitions, food and water security, social stability. Every book I read reinforces the same lesson. You can't tug at one thread without unraveling the whole web. That's why what you invest in either accelerates the transition or derails it. So across the 60 books, here are 5 insights that cut through the noise. 1. Limits are real. Donald Meadows' Limits to Growth showed that overshoot happens when growth outruns planetary boundaries. That warning is still true. 2. Energy is everything. Václav Smil makes it clear. Civilization is just energy conversion. To change the system, you have to change the energy base. Number 3, food is leverage. Jonathan Safran Foer and Amanda Little both highlight what we eat drives emissions, land use, and health. Change food and you change multiple systems at once. 4, truth is under attack. Naomi Oreskes' Merchants of Doubt shows how vested interests manufacture uncertainty. If you can't trust the information, you can't solve the problem. 5, progress is possible. Books like Hannah Ritchie's Not the End of the World remind us that data shows real improvement. From clean energy to reduced poverty, doom is disempowering, action works. If I zoom out, the systems view is simple. Inputs, what we take, so resources and energy. Outputs, so what we produce, so goods, waste, and CO2. Feedbacks, how the earth pushes back, so heat waves, floods, crop failures, wildfires. And the leverage points, shift energy, shift food, shift finance. Those are the big 3, and everything else ripples out. So what do you do with this knowledge? As an individual, you can eat less meat, waste less, and vote with your wallet. As a professional, you can integrate climate risk into your work. Whatever the sector, sustainability is no longer an option. And as an investor, remember, capital is a signal. Where money flows, the future grows. I read 60 books on sustainability, so you don't have to. And what I learned is this: sustainability isn't a side topic, it's the operating system of the 21st century. So also as an appendix, I wanted to explain how this fits with my system that I've been talking about. So here we go. So what I've set out in previous videos is a meta system of how to deal with complex adaptive systems and how to use systems theory to better achieve your goals. And the meta system I detailed in previous videos was setting a goal, doing some research, making some sort of forecast, then acting, and then reviewing and having feedback loops at all those stages. What I've really focused on here is the research aspect. So this shows you the extent to which I go into topics. Sustainability is my current role. I'm a sustainable investor. So this year I decided that to do well at work, that was my broad goal, I should become an expert in sustainability, because when you are investing, you obviously want to have the best picture of the world or the system that you're operating in as possible. So if I was to really nail this down, my goal was to basically profit from sustainability and make sure our portfolios are positioned sustainably. So the action that I will want to be taking is making investment recommendations. So if my goal is essentially to make money for clients and my action is to invest, I need to make sure that this process of make money, research, forecast, invest, review is working properly. And when you're dealing with the research stage, the best view generally of the world is to take a systems-based approach because it's the most accurate representation of reality. So within that research phase, I basically viewed our portfolio as a system that interacts with other systems that are out there. So what you can do is recognize that your portfolio doesn't exist in isolation. Your portfolio is a system that interacts with businesses, the economy, the environment, and society. And that's the key thing behind sustainable investing, is recognizing that your portfolio doesn't exist in isolation. It interacts with all these elements. What's sustainable and what I aim to do in the research phase is basically understand those systems that it interacts with as much as possible. So how does my portfolio interact with the environment? How does my portfolio interact with society? How does my portfolio interact with some big global megatrends that are happening out there? And what is the feedback loop from where I invest back into my portfolio? And that is the systems view of investing. Given it's my job, it's my full-time role, I thought I'd better do this justice and decided to just read everything I possibly could about sustainability. So as mentioned, I read 60 books. I'm going to provide a list down in the description so you can find them yourselves. But yeah, I want to explain how my meta process, goal, research, forecast, act, review ties in with reading 60 books on sustainability. So that's in the research phase. and then also recognized that the research phase, the best way to do research or the best way to model reality currently is taking the systems view. So recognizing that you have a number of elements, you have interconnections between those elements and information that flows around those over time. So there we have it. If you want to hear more deep dives from me on systems, sustainability, or how to build your life around these principles, don't forget to check out more from me here. Thank you.